Nobody touches somebody like this, and it's all just like, because we just had such a good time filming together. You guys were just such good friends, you know? And he just needed me to rub his neck like this. This is how I make him feel better. You know, he's nervous right now. Interviews are really hard. They're really, really hard. I mean, nobody expects to have to do an interview when you're an actor, you know, and that press tour is just, I mean, it's just running the gauntlet, you know, it's just really hard for him. So he needs this neck massage right now. Right now. Have you ever touched anybody like that you weren't like in an intimate relationship with? No? No, I have never. And you have never, okay? And if you did, you knew you were walking on some dicey territory, crossing and dancing on that line. One of the things I saw this week that immediately I was like, no, you're not going to do that and pull the wool over our eyes. Don't pee on our leg and tell us it's raining, okay? That situation needs to be shut down. And the fact that people have let this go on for so long shocks and appalls me. But you know the person who we really need to have in our sights today? Pedro Pascal. Okay, dude, you have been riding this weird little quirky personality you have with your little mustache and your glasses and pretending that you're God's awkward gift to us all, okay? But you know what? You're a weirdo. And I've known it these many years. And finally, people are catching up, okay? Up until now, I feel like the view towards him was that he was just sort of like this cute, sort of cuddly teddy bear, but also kind of good looking in a sort of awkward way. And that he was just so endearing because he had this like overwhelming anxiety, you know? Pan back to his SNL performance when he was just cold, awkward, and weird, and it all came down to the fact that even though he practiced like 50 times with Sabrina Carpenter, when it came down to it, the performance so terrified him because he wasn't used to the singing and the dancing element of performance that he just couldn't manage it. And that when she was clearly trying to create some chemistry with him on stage and, you know, he couldn't manage it, it was all because he felt so dang awkward. You know, the social anxiety that just rules and reigns and just controls his every movement had ruined the performance, unfortunately. You know, people are like, oh, poor Pedro. You know, poor Pedro Pascal. Okay, but you know, Pedro Pascal seems to have reined in this social anxiety to create a new kind of dynamic for himself, all right? He might be an incredibly awkward person who feels tremendous fear in the presence of others, which feels like he just has chosen the wrong profession as an actor. But he's just super nervous, you guys, and social situations kind of scare him, right? So he has decided to thwart this enemy from within by pawing and mawing all over the pretty female co-stars, you know? I mean, when you feel so bad inside, the only thing you can do is just grab a female, you know? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he just missed his mama's breast. I don't know. But somehow the closeness of a woman seems to allay his fears, frustrations, and anxieties. And this has been well documented. People for a long time have thought he was a little too handsy. To my knowledge, he's not in a relationship, you know, and I kind of always thought maybe he was gay. I don't know. Maybe he's not. But he's not with anybody. So I guess that's why he feels like he's free to just touch anyone whenever and however, because there's no one at home waiting to slap him across the face when he walks over the threshold, right? So he just does whatever. But the thing is, the people that he's with are in relationships. His co-stars are married. And there's this old video of him with William Dafoe. They're at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They're taking a picture by the star. And then he uses that opportunity to turn around and just for no apparent reason put his hands on William Dafoe's wife. I mean, it's almost like he's like, I finally got through that. You guys were so scared getting my picture taken by the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I need to go touch a woman, you know, so that I can regain some of my power, you know. So that was weird. And there's been instances like that of him just kind of being oddly handsy with other people's wives. Okay. But then recently, and I'd say within the last 24 hours, I just keep seeing this come up. He and his co-star, Vanessa Kirby, have a very weird relationship. Now, Pedro may not be in a relationship, okay? But Vanessa is. And Vanessa seems to be 110% in on this emotional support animal thing. I mean, she read the job application and she was like, sign me up, okay? She can't wait to be his emotional support animal. And I am telling you this much right now. The weirdness of this relationship, if I was her husband, I would be like, I just need you to know that you will be being served with the divorce papers. Nobody touches somebody like this, and it's all just like, because we just had such a good time filming together. You guys were just such good friends, you know. And he just needed me to rub his neck like this. This is how I make him feel better. You know, he's nervous right now. Interviews are really hard. They're really, really hard. I mean, nobody expects to have to do an interview when you're an actor, you know, and that press tour is just, I mean, it's just running the gauntlet, you know. It's just really hard for him. So he needs this neck massage right now. Right now. Have you ever touched anybody like that you weren't like in an intimate relationship with? No? No, I have never. And you have never, okay? And if you did, you knew you were walking on some dicey territory, crossing and dancing on that line. Okay, so she's over there massaging his neck and whatnot. And they're just all up in each other's space and everything. But for me, if I were her husband, the thing that would have just really put me over the edge, the thing that would have really frustrated me and thought, no, you've crossed the line here, is this little interaction. Look at this. Here they are talking, and then she reaches over, and they have this weird little intimate hand thing, you know? She puts her hand on his, they slap hands, and then interlock the fingers. There's such a dynamic energy here. The chemistry here, the understanding without words that is playing here, her I'm giving you the support without you having to ask for it, whole vibe is messed up. Okay, and Pedro has been getting everybody on his back low these many years for his weirdo behavior. And you know what? There's plenty of judgment to go around on that score. But also, Vanessa, do you want to stay happily married? I think she's pregnant now. Because we also are looking at some weirdness here. Is this Pedro's baby? Why are your hands all over her pregnant belly, I ask you? You know, so he's acting crazy, but she is a willing participant. And see, you know what I'm really tired of? I am tired in Hollywood of people acting like their relationships, their personal relationships, have no bearing when they're on a press tour. Oh, I'm married? Oh, I'll get back to that when I'm off this press tour. Because right now, I need to kiss my co-star who I just really bonded with, you know. They become like family. Really more than family. They're like, you just get this thing going when you're like on a set with somebody and you spend hours and hours and you're just, you know, creatively melded together. And it's just, you know, the only way I can express that is by being very overly physical sexually with this person. You wouldn't understand it because you're not an artist. You know, you don't understand the craft. But when you understand the craft and you are an artist and you have been with this person, you know, for weeks and months, I mean, marriage aside, I need to be rubbing Pascal's neck and also holding his hand. So I don't know what you want me to do about it. I mean, we saw this with Scarlett Johansson, who decided to make out with her co-star. And everyone came for me and was like, well, you know that guy's gay. Couldn't give a damn. Because she's not, all right? She's married. So I need to know why suddenly it's okay for her to kiss this guy because, I don't know, he's interested in other men. What? Who cares? If she'd gone up and kissed a female co-star, would you tell me, well, but that girl's straight? Well, they're not acting like they should right now. And Scarlett Johansson, you're not acting like you should right now. You're kissing another man and you're married. I mean, enough with but he's gay. Who cares? Who cares? Scarlett Johansson's married. Why is she kissing another man? That's my question. It's as simple as that. And in this instance, hey, Pedro, I don't know what your relationship status is with anyone. You got a situation, you got a relationship, I don't know. But what I do know right now is Vanessa is with someone, okay? So I don't know why she's clinging to you and being your support animal and whatnot, okay? That's not the role she needs to play. Now, I will say, I do think that being an actress would be incredibly hard. I do think it would be incredibly hard not to create bonds like this. Well, not like the Pedro and Vanessa bond. That's its own ugly animal. But I do think that if you were for months and months and months working on a creative project, and I think that if you're a creative person and you're working with a creative person and the chemistry that would have to happen between the two of you in order to make the story work on screen, I don't even know how you'd stay married happily in situations like that. I just don't. Because you're letting people into your world and into ways that you've never done that outside of marriage. So except for marriage or acting, when have you ever been this close to another human being? You know, or a serious relationship that you've been in with somebody. But to allow somebody to come into your space, and oftentimes, you know, it's going to be physical. But even if it was never physical, even if all you're doing in the movie is playing these incredibly close friends and you're with them all day on set and you're with them off set and you're staying in the same places, I just don't know how you go through life after that and just like, you know, wash my hands of that. Like, didn't feel anything for that person. I don't know. Maybe it's just that I couldn't do it. I couldn't be an actress. I don't think my husband would love that. And I wouldn't love that for him. I wouldn't want to see my husband go from film to film to film, having all these intimate relationships with all these women, not even if they're physical. I mean, I'm talking about the emotional element of it. And so, like, if I'm Vanessa Kirby's husband and I'm watching her emotionally take care of this guy, I'm more offended by that than if she had just made out with him. To me, being there for someone emotionally, way more offensive. Way more offensive. Ladies, am I right? Would you want to see your partner on screen constantly being taken care of by another woman? No? And if you are Vanessa Kirby's husband, men, rise up. Do you want to see your wife taking care of another man emotionally? I mean, this whole thing is so much worse to me than Scarlett Johansson kissing that guy, even if he was straight. Because that's a really weird moment. But it's so weird and it's so worthy of commenting. Everyone's called it out and like, that was a weird thing to do. But Pedro's been allowed to get away with this for a really long time, touching other women and saying it's because of his anxiety. And what I'm saying to you right now is that's that is worse because it's going on and on and on, and somebody's being there for you emotionally. If somebody's going to be there for you emotionally, when are they going to show up for you physically and sexually? Perhaps he already has, because who's that baby, right? Okay. I think we've dragged Pedro long enough, but I think that it needed to be done.